all of them, but here's another one with Biden. I just wanted to play this one because this is when he was in New York. Just listen, because he's really trying to go for, the guns.
Future's cut short by a man with a stolen Glock with 40 rounds, a magazine with 40 rounds. And it's really a weapon of war.
So a Glock now is a weapon of war. See, y'all hear this, right? Y'all hear this. Now, I know they use AK-47s, and war has been known, right? Or M16, okay, but a Glock, now if you're talking about a Colt 45, okay, but a Glock, 9mm, they technically don't use those in war, right? Unless you have to defend yourself. But they're wanting to call anything, any way, any means that people want to protect themselves, war, right? Anything. They were trying to depict anyone who wants to have a firearm to protect themselves that you're going against humanity. It's really despicable, everybody.
We put together a comprehensive strategy to combat gun crime in cities like New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and many other cities, San Francisco. First, we want to crack down on the flow of firearms used to commit violence. That includes taking on and shutting down rogue gun dealers. And it's about doing background checks, as well as outright selling, making sure that people who are not allowed to have a gun don't get the gun in the first place. And again, for any of the press listening, this doesn't violate anybody's Second Amendment right. There's no violation of a Second Amendment right. We talk like there's no amendment that's absolute. When the amendment was passed, it didn't say anybody can own a gun and any kind of gun and any kind of weapon. You couldn't buy a cannon, and when this amendment was passed, and so no reason why you should be able to buy certain assault weapons. But that's another issue. And look, one of the things that we focused on, the Attorney General and I, and we're getting to the point where I think we're going to be able to have a real impact on it, includes going after ghost guns. Ghost guns are the guns everyone in this room knows that can be purchased in parts, assembled at home, no serial number, and can't be traced. And they're as deadly as any other weapon out there. But the fact is, they are out there. And, this spring, the Justice Department will issue a final rule to regulate these so-called ghost guns. But there's more we can do. Across the country, police departments report sharp increases in the number of ghost guns found at crime scenes. That's why today the department is launching an intensified national ghost gun enforcement initiative to determine and deter criminals from using those weapons to cover their tracks. If you commit a crime with a ghost gun, not only are state and local prosecutors going to come after you, but expect federal charges and federal prosecution as well. We've also created a strike force to crack down on illegal gun trafficking across state lines. As the mayor said, as he pointed out, guns that are used to kill people in New York City, they aren't made in New York City. They aren't sold in New York City. They are sold in other places. Today, the Attorney General directed all U.S. attorneys in the United States to prioritize combating gun trafficking across state lines and city boundaries. The Justice Department is sending additional prosecutorial resources to help shut down what's referred to, as you all know, as the iron pipeline that funnels guns from shops in states like Georgia to crime scenes in Baltimore and Philadelphia and New York and so many other places. Second thing I want to point out is I want to help every major city follow New York's lead to put together partnerships like this one you put together and meet on a daily basis. Every day here in New York City, like this meeting today, federal, state, and local enforcement meet to share intelligence about arrests, shootings from the day before, and work to take those shooters off the street as quickly as possible. Just look around. This is what the partnership looks like, and this is what you put together. And it's an important partnership. We need more cities adopting the same model. That's why today the Attorney General is also directing U.S. attorneys to work with state and local law enforcement to strengthen partnerships like this one, and to get repeat gun violence offenders off the street and behind bars. The third thing, our plan calls for investing in critical services that reduce crime and violence. Community violence intervention programs like the one I'm going to see after this meeting, summer school, after-school programs for teens. As the saying goes, the teacher taught me, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. We got to have things for these kids to do, jobs for young adults, more school counselors and nurses, more mental health required in school, and mental health substance abuse treatment as well. Fourthly, when someone finishes their time in prison, all our experience tells us you just can't continue to give them 25 bucks and a bus ticket. They'll end up under the same bridge you arrested them in the first place from. And so I don't want them ending up back in prison or being there because they've committed another crime. We need to be able to train for and get a job, find stable housing, re-enter society, and have a second chance at a better life. My Department of Labor is funding programs to help formerly incarcerated individuals, including young adults, receive the education and training they need, and then connect them to quality jobs. I'll keep doing everything in my power to make sure the communities are safer, but Congress needs to do its part too. Pass universal background checks, ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, close loopholes that keep out of the hands of domestic abusers weapons, repeal the liability shield for gun manufacturers. Imagine had we had a liability. They're the only industry in America that is exempted from being able to be sued by the public. Only one. Imagine had that been the way with cigarette manufacturers. Where the heck would we be? We'd be in tough shape. Why gun manufacturers? Because of the power of their lobbying ability. It's got to end. They got to be held responsible for the things that they do that are irresponsible. And folks, you know, it's the only industry in America, as I said, that's exempt from being sued. And I find it to be outrageous. And folks, these laws, if we are able to pass them, are going to save lives. And more equally importantly, help you protect one another and protect yourself. Put law enforcement in a safer circumstance.